Hey, it's Dakota Franson here. Um, I don't like normally doing these types of videos, but there's been a few things going on that apparently I need to address. So, uh, if I seem like I'm all over the place, I do apologize. I'm gonna try to make this short, but as many of you who have been following my stuff for a while now know that I tend to be a rambler. Um, and I'm also kind of set off right now, triggered, I guess. So I'm gonna try to present this as calmly and as possible. I'm gonna try to get myself riled up too much, but anyway. So let's consider this like a video log. Now there's a lot of stuff that goes into this, so if I seem like I'm kind of all over the place, I'm sorry. Those of you who followed me for a while know that I'm basically involved in a little bit of everything. And because I've been a one-man operation in spite of the number of people I've worked with over the years, there's it gets to be a little hard to keep up sometimes, you know? So, first off, let's just simply go to say this, that I hope y'all are doing okay. If you're in the Pacific Northwest area, you know, anywhere from California to Washington right now, close to the fires, I hope you're getting safe. If you have any sort of fundraisers going together to try to help raise funds, feel free to send me a message. I'm more than happy to try to help out where I can. And I'm also willing to help share my platform in order to try to help get some more supporters, get some more funds in to try to help people, because let's just be honest, it seems like 2020 is wanting to go out with a bang. Dear God, I hope I just didn't jinx something. So there's that. I'm also saying that because I do know that there are some people that I hold very dearly in the affected areas. From what I know, you know, everybody's okay. So that's the part we're focusing on in that area. So the reason why I wanted to make this video is to address a few things. Okay? Because there's a lot of you who watch stuff from all my different platforms, know that I post a variety of different things. Even my website, even though I'm known as the specialist of the strange, I don't necessarily center it on just dealing with the paranormal. I have, you know, my movie studios, I have stuff from my books, I have stuff from my radio show, things like that. I have all sorts of things that I'm involved in, kind of wrapped into one package. Now, these last few years, because there's a lot of confusion that goes on, I've been trying to do my best in order to kind of wrap it all into one package. Because there's a lot of social media experts out there that try to say, you know, that you should only focus on like one niche, and honestly, that idea bothers me, because why? Who wants to see a one-dimensional ass person? If you're watching a favorite, you know, I shouldn't say a favorite, but you're watching a TV show and there's not really any depth to the personalities, to the motivation of the characters, you're going to quickly lose interest, right? And that's not what I'm trying to do here. I try to express all the forms of my life, even some of the more personal, dark stuff that I probably shouldn't be talking about, but I do anyway. And it's some of the remarks I get from some people, and it's from people that, who technically should be supportive because of how their relationship to me, let's put it like that. And I even had an ex try to call my stuff into question because they felt that there were other motivations. So let's go into that real quick. A lot of you who pay attention to my stuff know that I'm involved with several businesses. I've invested in a lot of startup companies, and so far a majority of them are doing fairly well, which is always good for me. And if maybe some of you have actually seen some of the movies I've been involved with, or my companies have been involved with, I should say. Because I'm centered in Idaho, there's not a lot of active roles I can take on. But thanks to the pandemic, more opportunities for voiceover are being made available, so I've been exploring that. So maybe you'll get to see some of that here soon. We'll see. I'm not trying to announce anything. I'm just saying that's what I have going on. There's, like I say, notice that I focus a lot on businesses. I tend to post goofy videos on my social media pages all the time. That's one of the things that I need to address right now, because there's some people that have tried to call my legitimacy into question because I do that. A lot of the stuff involving the paranormal, mental health issues center heavily on that. It is something I've always focused on. It is something that I've tried to do my best to help out with where I can. And I mentioned that there's an ex that had an issue with this. They tried to say that I had other motivations. Well, if you're watching this, fuck you. The reason why I would do that is because, well, there's a few different reasons that I go into it. Number one, like I said, there's a lot of influence when it comes to mental health. And sometimes it's not just, generalized anxiety from day-to-day tasks. It's some stuff that tends to get pretty dark. Those of you who follow my radio show know that, may have heard that I mentioned a couple real messed up incidents I've been involved with recently where we lost someone. And my respects out to the family. And in that case, that person was too far along to be saved. It's horrible to say, but unfortunately, it's the truth. I go into a bit of it in my last few minutes of my radio show, realizing that I gone over time. So be sure to check that out on my YouTube channel if you want to get a chance. And while creating content that addresses mental health issues, that tries to address things personally, one-on-one, is great, and I do try to put some of that out. Sometimes all a person really needs in order to be able to deal with whatever's going on is just find a reason to smile, find a reason to laugh, and that's why I do that. And I'm also kind of a creative, artistic person. I like getting creative. I like doing artistic things. There's always some sort of new challenge when it comes to that. So that feeds into that. you know, where I said I, tend to get involved with a lot of acting jobs, because I've started to make some television appearances. There's been a few people that try to say you're only doing this for money. Then I'm gonna confess something. Those of you who know that I made an appearance on National Geographic, I actually didn't get paid for that. And there were no negotiations to try to get paid for it. They said, hey, we read about your sighting. Is there anything you can provide for us? And honestly, when they said the program was for National Geographic, I was on board. Because, it's a big platform. It helps get more exposure. I'm not doing any of this to try to be famous, trying to make money. If I could make this into a full-time job, that would be fucking fantastic. I would not say no. If somebody wanted to put together, a ghost hunting travel show as me as the host, I would say, like, where do I sign up? I would not say no to that, because I honestly love to travel. I honestly love getting creative and doing things like that, because it exercises my mind. And there have been a number of times where people have actually reached out to me, whether it's because of the funny videos or talking about my experiences with the paranormal. People have reached out to me thanking me for doing these things, because it helped them. And it is one of the most amazing feelings in the world, and that is something I will not ever, 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 ever turn away, no matter what you might say about it. I'm addressing somebody in particular for that instead of putting it as a generalized topic. I have no plans to stop, because it sure as shit seems like a lot of the stuff on the paranormal side of things focus on life after death. Me dying ain't gonna stop me. Sounds kind of morbid, but it's the freaking truth. And plus, a lot, it's not just with National Geographic. Because I've had this platform and apparently made a lot of good impressions along the way, I've been able to network and connect with so many different people who are a lot more experienced with a lot of things I'm interested in, my own bucket list. And apparently I made enough of a good impression on them. They said, hey, let's work together. In fact, on the 13th of October, I'm going to be attending a writer's workshop with a local author is hosting, and she's the first one that ever got me into books. Hauntings from the Snake River Plain. Look it up on Amazon if you're interested. Things like that. Being able to network and connect with these people expands my horizons. And I honestly want to build a platform that serves as inspiration to other people to say, hey, yes, you can do these things. You just have to get off your ass and chase after it. And I want to serve as motivation for people who don't know how to tune out the naysayers yet. I still get freaking people who try to tear me down, especially when they're fucking emotional from whatever's going on with them. They try to take out their shit on me, to try to call my shit into question because it inconvenienced them. Because it didn't fit what they wanted, what they thought I should do. Do you honestly have any regrets about pursuing this type of thing? Hell to the fuck no. Because anybody who's drawn this into question has clearly shown they're not people to have around in life. They're not the type of people you want in life. And yes, they're dealing with their own issues, but nevertheless, clearly they're not meant for my life. Which It's kind of a poor segue into my next point. There's a few people out there who call into question that I don't focus on relationships. And I'm talking romantic relationships. Get a little girlfriend, get a little thing on side. Yeah. I'm gonna say this on that. Yes, a lot of the stuff I've talked about involves potentially having a daughter in the future that an archangel introduced to me years before she's been born. She's still not born, for those of you wanting an update. Ichinos. Anyway. Yes, that's going on. And my honest approach is that if I'm going off doing my thing, I run into somebody, we get to talking, we get to hitting it off. If someone comes along that makes, say, hey, let's see where this goes, then I'll ride it out. We'll see what happens. That's my honest approach. There's a lot of people, because they know here in January I'm about to turn 25, they're bothered by the fact that I'm not married, I don't have kids. Okay? My spot financially is just enough to cover my expenses, set aside some money, to move on later in life, as well as explore all these things. I'm keeping myself afloat. I'm in a good spot right now. Yes, I've had a little bit of help, but nevertheless, I'm in a spot where I'm maintaining. It's not perfect. There's a lot of spots where it could use improvements, but it's where I'm at right now. It's a good spot where I'm at right now. And like I said, the people that have called this into question, honestly, a good majority of them are not the type of people you want in life. In fact, one of them might be monitored by the U.S. Marshals as we speak because of the shit she's been pulling. Yeah, so. And no, it's not the ex. And, that's my honest approach, because a lot of the ideas where you have to be married with kids by the time you're 30, a lot of the ideas for that came at a time when people didn't make it past 50. Y'all do realize that, right? The idea is if you're not married by 30 with kids, you're screwed for the rest of your life. That came around when people hardly made it past 50. You know that, right? People are making it to their 80s, 90s, 100s. There's a lot more time. Take it easy. Don't put... Going into relationships with those ideals puts an unnecessary pressure on both parties that's only going to cause things to break early on before it has a chance to build a solid foundation. That's my approach. That's my belief. And honestly, can we just say this? Maybe it's a little bit more so thanks to the pandemic, but quite frankly, 90% of the relationships out there that I've been seeing, the dynamics might as well be considered auditions to fucking Maury. And that's not something I want in life. I don't want that. I don't want my kids to be worried about mommy and daddy going through like that. I don't want my kids to deal with some of the situations I've had to deal with. And you're like, oh, you complain about your parents. No. My father is currently in prison for the rest of the life because of the shit he done. And it's only the shit that police were able to prove. Do I have any resentment for the police because of that? No, I support law enforcement. I don't want my kids to have... I want the only thing my kids freaking worry about is what color of crayon they're going to use on a picture. Am I going to get that? No. There's a likely chance that Olivia is going to be born with superpowers. The X-Men fan of me absolutely loves the idea, but the person who watched The Incredibles with the hard realization I may have a freaking Jack on my hands is horrified. But we'll see what happens. And I'm also saying this because I'm going to make a little bit of confession. I've said numerous times that I am against the idea that someone should be solely defined by their sexuality. It bothers me that where people say they're gay, they're lesbian, they're pansexual, blah 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 blah. It bothers me that it seems like that's the only part of their identity they want to focus on. People are so much more than that. Don't tell me about who it is you're attracted to. Tell me about, your dreams, your hopes, ideas you have. Tell me about your favorite shows, things like that. I like situations where I feel like I can emotionally connect with someone. In fact, yeah, I do get crushes from time to time, but I don't feel any sort of attraction to someone unless there's an emotional connection. And apparently, under the cornucopia of human sexuality labels, that makes me demisexual. I don't focus on identifying myself as that because, like I said, I don't want to go in a relationship where the only thing you focus on is that I'm a guy. And to be completely honest with y'all, yeah, there is someone who I wouldn't mind seeing how a relationship would unfold. There's a couple people, and I'm saying this because we've had time to get to know each other. They've shared some really great memories, things like that. There's honestly some people who I wouldn't mind seeing what happens. But we haven't seen each other in person for years, and it's not because anything happened, it's just because we met in the wind. And by the time the adventure was over, we had to go back to our realities. We still keep in touch, don't get me wrong, but it's hard under that dynamic, especially where I have close connections with local law enforcement agencies. A lot of people around here tend to get pretty intimidated by that, and right now we do have assholes scoping out the local mall to pick up fresh meat for sex trafficking. Yeah, there's a lot of shit I know that I shouldn't, but we got that going on right now. And like I said, I don't want that type of person in my life. Especially because I've built my entire operation and working on this since I was in freaking 9th grade is when I got started in the public eye. Because I knew that the actions of others could easily influence the opportunities down the line. Doing what I do helps me keep myself as well as the people around me in check. And if they don't fit under certain ideals, then they don't stick around for long. It's not that they're bad people, it's just clearly life is taking us in different directions. And so far it's worked out for me. In fact, you may go onto my website right now, dakotafranson.com, and you can see that I'm invested in movie studios where I'm helping make movies. There's a company, Fisher Wallace Laboratories, that designed a wearable device that helps treat depression, anxiety, insomnia. The results coming out of that have been better than most drugs doctors prescribe. And it's even been used to help combat veterans with PTSD. There's a artificial intelligence company I'm invested in. There's I just bought investments in freaking restaurants not too long ago. Paperwork's still being settled on that one at the time of recording this. In 5 years' time, if nothing else extreme goes wrong, I'm helping set up a freaking monument on the moon. I'm too tall for actual space travel, but I'll take that. I'll take all these adventures to make my mark on the world than to ever try to settle down with somebody who feels that my operations, the things I do to try to help make the world a better place, to try to become something more, as a sign of evil. I would rather risk my life saving someone I've never met before than spend any time with someone who makes me doubt who I am, that calls into question what I do because it doesn't fit their ideas, or they convince themselves that there's something else going on under the surface. I do not want people in my life who, out of emotional fits of rage that equate to an adult version of a goddamn temper tantrum, try to say that my choices have been bad when yet the very people that they've been favoring are possibly getting themselves exposed and potentially hunted down by some of the most sickest and twisted people out there. People possibly even affiliated with fucking Epstein. And I'm making this video to call these people out, partially because there was a bit of an incident today that pissed me off. Then they tried calling me for help when I realized that none of the parties involved have any chance of being helped the way they are. I'm making this video to address the truth to those of you who question my integrity, my legitimacy. Granted, some of it is because it is all over the place and it's kind of hard to wrap everything under one ribbon under the circumstances. But I'm also making this to address those of you who want to try to pursue your own dreams, or maybe even pursue something similar. To address the fact that you will have retaliation. You will have people try to put obstacles in your way. You will have people try to call you into question, but to persevere, to fight, to keep freaking going. Everyone has a potential for greatness. Stop trying to isolate yourselves like, oh, but I'm depressed. Oh, but I have this. If a fucking man with no goddamn arms can work the freaking tracks at NASCAR, if a comedian who lost his leg to cancer, some of you may know who I'm referencing, lost his leg to cancer, can build a life where he's exploring his things, have fun at his condition, and talk about his rise up, the observations he made in life, the effect that he had on people. You have the potential to create something extraordinary. How do I know this? because you're alive to watch this message. So remember that. Persevere, stay strong, especially in the face of 2020. Excuse me, my throat's a little dry. So that's the facts. Today is, what's today? What is it? What's today? Tune in this Friday. New episode of Specials of the Strange Radio Show. Be sure to like and follow all my pages. There will be a link in the description where you can find all my videos, all my pages. Check them out. There's a little something different on each one, so like everything so you don't miss it. Stay strong, spread love, spread kindness. I'll see y'all next time.